Hi everyone and welcome back to SGTV. So today's episode is something different. It's actually a bit more of an introduction to what we've got to come over the coming weeks. So over the past several months I've been speaking to various sparkies from different parts of the industry, such as agricultural, domestic, commercial, rail, tutoring.
Anyone
we can possibly think of. And what better way than to get you guys on, because I mean, Darren, what's your job title here at Scolmore?
Hold on a minute. I am technical. What am I? Technical
head of.
Head of technical engagement. That's right. Yeah.
And what about you, Joe?
I'm technical engagement engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, I brought you both on the show because you've both had a varied career yourselves, and this is the one thing we want to try and get the message across in these videos: is once you become qualified, you don't have to just stick with one route. And it doesn't matter if you're young and think, "Oh, well, this isn't for me. I might try this." Even if you're later in your career and you want to try something different. So as I said, you're going to see the videos we're doing, but I thought with you guys we can speak a little bit about some of the different routes you could take.
Yeah, I mean, I can go first if you want. Started off as an apprentice, went all the way through college, was doing things like solar PV, LED lights, upgrades from the old fluorescents, and then sort of moved away from that. And then I don't really know, mainly you taught me into doing stuff like this, where we're speaking to electricians all over the country, reg updates, and doing large seminars for anything up to 750 people. So it is very diverse. It takes its own path. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow of it, like I did with Darren asking me to join him.
I think the basis of that, though, all comes from your fundamental training that all of us do and complete. So we all do that fundamental stuff that is right at the base of our understanding. So we all know Ohm's law, we all do volt drop calculations and stuff like that, and we all do the work on the boards and then the rigs in the bays and stuff like that. So we all start off there, and from there it really does open up. We've done it before where we've spoken to groups of apprentices or career changers about what it means to be an electrician. And it never is just an electrician.
It's not just one dimension, is it?
Never is. No, I mean, there's people out there, you see it on the vans, don't you? What's listed on the back of their vans?
Domestic, industrial, commercial, but we sort of say nowadays people don't tend to do the whole spectrum of the domestic, industrial and commercial. They sort of specialise in one area, and I think that's changed definitely over the years from what I've seen to people just focusing on one area. Normally because that's what they prefer, or they feel more comfortable with that area.
And there's nothing wrong with that if you're enjoying doing what you're doing.
Not at all. And if that's what you're good at, stick to it. I mean, an electrician, to say, let's get an electrician off of site who's done lots of three-phase for years and stick him in a domestic job, is going to be out of his depth for the first couple of weeks until he gets up to speed again. Likewise, the other way around, taking someone who's just purely domestic and putting them in a three-phase environment with conduit tray. I mean, if someone gave me a bit of conduit now, it'd take me a good couple of days to get it used to how you bend it or don't bend it, more the point. But it's about understanding where you're comfortable. And like I said, on the side of the van, it's very rare you see everyone do everything now, is it? Yeah,
and I mean, it's nothing to do with, like you mentioned, fundamentals. Everyone's going to have the fundamentals and they will be able to do those jobs in different sections. But as you mentioned, it's getting that up to speed. There's always a quicker way of doing things and making sure that everything's still right in that. But, it takes a little while to get back in the flow of certain things when you move around the sectors.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's opened my eyes as well is speaking to various electricians in the industry, all different sections. They all seem to be the kids that were taking toys apart when they were kids. They've got that practical understanding, and like you say, they're all going to understand their Ohm's laws and things like that. And then once you realise that you do have that practical sort of mentality, you can apply that to so many different parts of the industry.
Yeah.
And I know it's not going to be as simple as going from industrial to but you can. It's doable.
The basics, the transferable skills are still there. So, for instance, you may find that you just want to do CCTV. Something that we're very keen on here is CCTV and security part of our business. And that, again, fundamentally will be a sparks and the understanding of how you drill holes, how you fix cables, how you route cables as well. It doesn't matter whether it's a cable to get signal for a CCTV system or for an access system or to get your lights or your sockets or your anything. It's about those fundamentals again. And once you've got them, you can take them with you and diversify your business into anything. I mean, Jake's path is quite varied. I started as an apprentice, an electrician, and then a contracts manager before then going into education, and then from education ended up at NIC, EIC in an engineering sector there, Jake came and joined that part of it, and that was all around, again, technical standards and developing standards and helping to deliver that understanding to, as you said, groups of up to 750. Never in a million years did I ever think, being an apprentice electrician, I'd be doing anything that. I think as an apprentice, you just want to be an electrician.
Yeah.
That's all you got. You just got your head on that.
Qualifications and get some money, get practical.
That's it. I just want to get out there and start earning the money. That's it.
Before when Darren first approached me to join, I said, no chance, it's my worst nightmare. I said, I hate standing up in front of people and talking.
Now look what you do.
That's what I mean, but the industry is so diverse, you can, as long as you know what you're talking about, do we? No. As long as you know what you're talking about, you can pretty much move into any sector of it. Yeah.
And originally, I mean, when I first came to Scolmore especially, you typically think of domestic, commercial, industrial, for me. And then, speaking to other people, you don't realise that the rail system has a different type of network.
Different standards.
Agricultural, tutoring, and there's so many different aspects of it. And if you go into your local wholesaler, chances are the salesman or the branch managers, they've probably been on the tools themselves. And whether it's a decision later in life or if they're thinking, okay, there's an opportunity for me here, it's so varied.
We do talk about that, don't we? We've mentioned that there are a number of wholesalers out there that are actually actively looking for knowledge, industry knowledge, before they'll even consider you for a position. And that's something that people wouldn't even believe of. So do I need to go into education before I need to go into that, and what do I need to do? But I think fundamentally, you've got to get it right at the very beginning, which is that basic qualification. Without that, you wouldn't go to any of the others.
So what I want to ask from there, though, and this is something we cover a bit more in depth with some of the other Sparkies in the different videos we've done, but just as a prequel to that, do you need additional qualifications to go into different sectors?
I mean, there is different courses to do, because there are certain products, let's just use EV for example, that's changed over the last few years, and it definitely, you do need an additional qualification. The fundamentals, as we've mentioned already, stay the same, but there is some specifics that are actually to do with that part. So just using EV as an example. CCTV, fire alarms, again, those types of things are product specific. There are qualifications or courses, should I say, that you can
And manufacturers like ourselves offer those types of training.
Yeah, but we support contractors with that knowledge base. So if it's something, an area they want to move into, what we tend to find is when Jake have done the events across the years, they want to know about it, but they're just scared to take that jump. And actually, when you come to someone like us that offers the training that we do, they think, oh, why wasn't I doing it years ago? And that's
And how much does the training cost we offer?
From us, I think it's around about nothing.
Yeah. And that's another thing. People might not realise that some of the training manufacturers like ourselves offer is actually free for customers.
And again, there's no risk then, is there? All of a sudden, you haven't got to invest this lot of money, and then all of a sudden, no, I don't want to do it. Just take that little bit of a jump, and the risk is very minimum to a contractor.
Talking about training, it's not just that we look at as well. We'll support you throughout the whole journey of the installation and the commission, especially when we look at the products that we do at ESP, especially the design side of things. We'll support you all the way through. So if it is something that people are looking to do, then they most definitely can put their trust in ESP to deliver that for them.
I think one thing that Ben mentioned there that is really, really important, new qualifications to your basis, yes, that will happen. We saw a big, when PV came in, there was masses of people that went and retrained around PV. We're seeing it now with electric vehicles. We'll see it around battery when battery technology comes in as well. There'll be lots of training there. But also there's the need to update your knowledge and understanding. Our regulations change every 3 years. And there is that need to go back and sit maybe an online course or a seminar or something, just to keep yourself abreast of what's going on.
You can never stop learning, can you?
CPD, we've done one of these as well with you guys about looking at CPD, and it's so important for our industry and for the people within it that want to go on and be better, just to keep CPD going. And
these training courses, I mean, when you're initially starting out on your apprenticeship or whichever route you go to, it can take years. It's years of education. But these sort of upgrading qualifications going into the different routes, they're not years, are they? You're talking days, weeks, maybe months.
Or hours. Some of it is hours online. You can do it online and break it down to Monday night I'll do 2 hours, another night and stuff like that. So it could be hours worth, just keep your knowledge where it needs to be. For instance, we've got courses that they literally are only an hour long, so for people to sit and review and absorb and do those. So again, it's constant rather than literally just waiting and doing a big lot of learning once every 3 years, I'd knock that on the head and just do lots of little ones throughout the 3 years and do it that way.
And you made a good point talking about EV. That's relatively new, and that's just one thing. You're talking new heating systems amongst God knows however many new technologies that are going to be coming into the industry, which is all opportunity. So like you say, once you've got that initial qualification, it doesn't stop there, and you probably won't know where it's going to stop.
No. I mean, we look at the regulations for our main guidance of where the industry's going, and we know that that's changed, and there's going to be a new Part 8, it's believed, and Part 8 will be looking at energy efficiency and battery technology and how you can generate it on your roof and use it in your batteries and lose it later on.
I want Jake to come ram on and sort that. I've been hinting at him, but like...
And you're right there. Boiling systems, they're going to go, aren't they?
Heating systems, that's the next big one, I think.
We're going to get rid of our gas guzzling boilers and we're going to start replacing with nice new electric ones. And this is everything that we've got to embrace. If you don't embrace it, you're going to get left behind. And that's what we're trying to do here.
I think you've probably found that as well, speaking to most of the contractors that you spoke to. Within their individual sectors, there's always something that's new, so they have to embrace it, especially if they're specialising in something. They can't then just, you know, they've obviously put a lot of money into that specific area. They can't then just turn around and go, actually, because that's changing, I don't want to keep up with the times. They have to keep up with the times, otherwise, like Darren said, they're going to be left behind.
And the thing is, it's not a chore. I mean, if you're in the industry, you're probably in it because you like it. And if you're going down a specific route, such as EV or whatever it is, you're probably doing that because you like it. So you might find doing this kind of training is something that's sparking your interest and keeping you enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot in our industry. We're quite geeky, aren't we?
You are.
And we tend to be early adopters of technology. So when new stuff comes in, like a new electric vehicle or new battery technology, battery storage, you will find there will be it will attract itself to a number of us, and we'll install it in our own installations before we install it in our customers. And that's what we tend to do as electricians. We tend to have it on our own house first before anyone else's.
Another thing I wanted to ask, I mean, we spoke about various routes from the offset, you know. We spoke about the new technologies, how that can impact where you might go. But let's say, for an example, you've been a domestic or industrial installer for 30, 40 years, and you just can't take it anymore. And I mean that in the nicest possible way.
You're a broken
because,
man.
Yeah, it's a physical job.
Yeah,
your knees, you might go, your back might go.
Yeah.
And for some people, they might be worried. They might be thinking, where do I go from here? I've got a family to support, a mortgage to pay.
Yeah.
I can't physically do this job. So what sort of options would there be?
First off, you can go into wholesaling. We've spoken about that already, so that's an option. You could then go into management, so you can move up and go away from the tools and look after and supervise guys. You could probably go to being a surveyor for jobs. You could go to, what's the other one?
Design's another one.
That's the one I'm thinking
another
of.
one we can move into.
Design.
One thing I will say is we see an awful lot of the guys, they want to aspire to running their own business, and they've done the electrical qualification, the apprenticeship, finished that, they've been out on the tools for a number of years, and now they want to go it alone. And all of a sudden, overnight, what they don't realise is they've just become the director of finance, the director of sales, the director of HR, and all of these now are on them, and they think, no, I'm just a good electrician. So there is that other need to upskill in those other areas, or you'll get found out. And you don't want to get found out when it goes wrong, because it's health and safety.
Your head then as well.
And they'll say, it's your health and safety, you're responsible. And again, it's just about knowing where the risks are and just doing the training that's out there. And a lot of it's free. A lot of it's free and available, that training. So there's loads of things to consider if you are going it alone. But the rewards can be pretty good if you get it right.
Yeah. And you never know, you might be the business that is the first on the scene to be doing whatever new tech or
whatever's next.
Whatever's next.
And battery technology for us, that's what we're waiting for, isn't it? That battery technology is going to be the thing that changes everything. If they can crack battery technology, everyone's going to be on an electric vehicle. Everyone's going to be storing it in their own home. Everyone's going to be using it differently, and then lights will be DC lights, won't they? They won't be AC lights anymore. We'll have DC switches and all sorts. So it is going to be massive if they can crack the technology.
Yeah. I mean, they are starting to do it with some of them. You know, Tesla, for example, they've got a power wall that they call it. So they are being fitted out throughout the system, throughout the grid, but it's not readily available. It's not like you're turning a light switch on every day. It's not just that it's not available yet.
No, it's not as readily accessible, but it is there, and there are some early adopters that are embracing it and running with it. So it's It's close, but just not there yet.
But just going back to your question, there's still a lot of scope within the industry in terms of jobs that you can do that are not on the tools, and it's entirely down to the person to decide again where they want to go, whether they're interested in sort of the surveying side of things or whether they're more about the test certificates, because there could be a QS that goes in the office and goes around from site to site. So there's plenty of jobs to move away from if you don't want to be on the tools or you can't be on the tools anymore. It's just picking that path again. And sometimes, you might look at a list of jobs that come up on a job site and then you go, well, that looks pretty good, I'll have a look at that. And then you go into it and all of a sudden you think, it's not for me, try something else. But there is always that option to go around and move from being the side of testing and the QS to the surveying side or the pricing of jobs.
Yeah, you tend to get the cleaner jobs, don't you?
Yeah.
The cleaner jobs.
And it'd be perfect for you. I mean, before this episode, you told me you've got physio this afternoon, so...
Yeah, I'm always in physio. I'm a broken man.
But yeah, I mean, I hope that gives our audience a bit of an insight into what they've got to see coming up on our show and just in general about what they can do in their career. We're going to show you a clip now from the footage we've been collecting over the past few months. So this is something you can keep in store for next time.
Hey guys, I'm Graham Anslow and I'm an agricultural electrician. The farmers do very long hours and they can be up from 3:30, 4 in the morning. So if they see you there at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, they're having their breakfast then. So they think you're doing half a day. If it's a call out, you'll be there and obviously the RCD's gone off for whatever reason. And if it's a milking parlour, there's a lot of water. They're jet washing everything down. So you've got to isolate everything and get to the problem. Being an agricultural electrician, it's tough. You've just got to get in there with your wellies and just accept that you're going to get muck on your hands and muck on your boots and ladders and everything.
Hi, my name's Rob Merrilees. I am a qualified electrician and now working in the events industry. I've been really, really lucky. I've got to travel the world, really. I've been to some great places. I've been to some horrible places, but everything has been an experience. I've been lucky enough. I've done 4 Olympic Games, 3 summer, 1 winter. I've been involved in concerts, festivals. If you have an interest in events and an interest in like lighting or even like rigging or video even, try and follow your dreams. You've got nothing to lose because at the end of the day, you've got that piece of paper to say that you're an electrician.
Hi, my name's Antony. I'm a fire alarm and security installer. My company is ALO Electrical and Security. I'm SSIB registered for door access, CCTV and intruder. It's mostly the intruder that has most of the regulations. There are loads of regulations for everything else. If you go to a fire alarm system that you've never seen before, if you was looking into fire, the best advice I would say is try and get a fire alarm apprenticeship. Because once you've got those 3 to 4 years of experience, you can pretty much go anywhere. You can go and join a company, 40 grand a year, 50 grand a year. The best part of my job is I get to go to see so many different types of companies. It's one of those jobs where it's different every single day.
Hi, I'm Stephanie and I'm a domestic installer. I am housing association, so general day-to-day, it's repairs, the odd board change, sometimes rewires. It's quite varied. Generally, it's just like socket changes, light switch changes, pendant changes. It's just little jobs like that. Domestic is a whole nother world. Yeah, you know how to do it on paper, but going out and doing it, especially when it's an occupied property, it's not a blank canvas. I think you still need that experience within the field. Don't be afraid to take a chance, take it in your stride and do what you want to do and just go for it.
Yeah, I'm Mark Reeves. I'm a director of Reeves Associates. We're M&E Building Services Consultants. For me as a director, we've probably got around about 10, 15 projects at the moment. So a lot of it is answering day-to-day emails. I'm speaking to all those individuals. It's good and it's rewarding. And as you say, you get involved in different sectors. You've got a bit of everything. You're doing design, meetings, site supervision, or even condition surveys. So you're doing a complete mixture, basically. And that's where I think the learning is, doing different style of projects.
Yeah, so my company's called UKES Rail. It could be anything from emergency light testing to maintaining distribution boards and greasing up switchgear to installing lighting schemes, platform lighting, concourse lighting on the big major stations to EICRs and carrying them out. Some of the EICRs we do are non-stop for 6 months, 6, 7, 8 months on just on one EICR. These places are so vast. At 2010, I started my own company and gave it a go myself. So yeah, since then I've been strength to strength. It's a great industry to be in.
So I'm currently teaching at Chelmsford College in Essex. The levels we teach is levels 1 to 3. The level 3 is predominantly apprentices, but we also teach level 2 and level 3 evening classes for ladies and gentlemen who are more mature and want to come in from different pathways, different routes, career paths, etc., and to go on to be a qualified, competent electrician. If you want to change your career, then go for it. Come and see us if you want to change career path. It is a tough career to be in. You've got to be one step ahead of those learners.
My name's Mike. I'm 24. I've been an electrician for almost 9 years. Worked in all sectors, commercial, industrial and domestic, and now I find myself working for a firm that does it all basically, but I primarily do the commercial and industrial stuff for our firm. Most industrial installs are they're three-phase installations just because of the amount of power and the equipment that you're going to be using. Find a good company to work for and invest in them, and they will invest in you, and go back to competence. Know what you know and know what you don't know, and I think people will only respect you for that.
Neil McManus, I'm from Leicester College. We cover a range from level 1s to level 3s, large apprenticeship cohort, adult evenings, 15 to 60. It's definitely stability. It's a journey. It's like starting as an apprentice again. You don't start off on the top scale until you achieve your teaching qualification, which is supported with. It's hard, but it's very, very rewarding when these students grow up and mature and they don't forget a good teacher. They keep in contact.
So anyway, guys, I want to thank you both for helping me on the show today. It's always a pleasure to have you on. You've got more knowledge on this sort of thing than me. And there was something about CPD we want to talk about as well.
Well, we've mentioned CPD again today, but I think CPD is going to become more and more, isn't it, Jake? Especially for those that are registered with a competent person scheme.
Yeah, so if you're registered with Alexa, NIC, NAPIT or Stroma, whoever it may be, there's a requirement now under the EAS that requires contractors to do 30 plus hours of CPD. Now, how they do that is, they could be reading an industry magazine, or they could be looking through technical articles within that magazine. They need to document that, and then from that point there, the assessors will look at that and say, yes, you've done your required hours. Or you could do some sort of training course that's free of charge.
Something that we've got. So you could do that. So we're going to have lots of stuff ready for the contractor to absorb later on in the year. So there's going to be a place to go to on our website where you can learn with us, or
webinars, or
SGTV.
Something like what you've been doing, Ben. Just looking at the industry and seeing what people are talking about. Again, that counts as CPD. You don't always need a certificate for it to count as CPD, which a lot of people have this misconception that I need a certificate. You don't, as long as you're documenting it for the assessor to see when they're coming around doing your assessment. That stacks up as well.
And is that active now, or is that coming in?
That is active. That was from last September that came in.
Okay.
A few people are still catching up with the times because they probably haven't had their assessments yet, and they've not been told that.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is about the assessor when he comes around and asks for it. If it's the first time you've seen him since last September, it may be the first you're hearing about it. But we've got lots available for the contractor if they want it.
Yeah. Okay, I want to thank you guys again. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification button below, and we'll see you next time.